How's it guys, Dayvy FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Dayvy Livestream. This livestream is going to revolve around Game Week 13. As I always say, I appreciate you guys joining me Saturday morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you guys are around the world. Hopefully it's going to be a good game week for us all. Game Week 13 might be a little bit of an unlucky game week to be honest, but maybe we can turn the fates there and manage to get a green arrow. Thanks so a lot for joining me in chat. So a lot of you guys there. Shout out to Jason for subscribing or becoming a member again. I said 2 minutes late. That's it, I unsub. So apologies for being a little bit later. But as you guys know, I'm never kind of always on time. Some things sometimes go wrong. Luckily, as Sonny's saying, I didn't forget to press live this time. But luckily, we should be all live. And hopefully, we're going to be having a good live stream. In terms of my own team, we'll start off talking about my own team, kind of what's happening there. I've not made any transfers as of yet. I have one free transfer to make. And unfortunately, Havertz dropped in price last night. I didn't expect him to drop in price. He wasn't really close. I think Foden was the closest to drop in price, but Foden didn't even drop. So don't really know what's going on kind of with the price rises right now. The player that I would bring in probably for Havertz would have been Jota. He rose in price 2 days ago. So in terms of the price rises, the bank is not looking that great. But at the end of the day, we're not really looking to get the most kind of value. We're looking to get the most points. So I'm not really that mad about those moves. Going to be waiting probably until the end of the stream kind of, because I just want to get as much news as possible on this whole weather scenario. So if you guys are on Liverpool, Manchester, on those areas, let me know how the weather is currently, because apparently it's quite windy and there might be a postponement. I don't really think so, but obviously with fans back in the stadium now, they have to almost incorporate the fan safety. So if there's going to be hectic weather, they probably might postpone the game, but I think it's kind of clutching at straws a little bit. But maybe we will get an update on the weather a little bit later on into the stream. In terms of so Tom's there saying the weather's not too bad. So if Tom's saying it's not too bad, it's probably going to be fine. I think that's one of those things where it's like kind of like a confirmation thing where you just kind of wanted to edge you onto making the transfer. Maybe that'll be kind of with Jota. But other moves I could make. Could take Diaz out for Alonso, with Ben Shaw being out for a minimum of 6 weeks. I would probably say stretch that to maybe 2 months, and then they're going to assess the situation there coming into the new year, coming into the start of the 2022 season. But in terms of the other stuff, I could maybe do Armstrong to Hwang. That could also be a move that I do. All three of those are potential moves, but I think the most likely one is probably going to be Armstrong, or it's going to be Havertz out. I don't know if you guys are Chelsea fans, but I don't really think that Havertz, I think it's like a 60-40 that he starts, and I think that I would rather maybe just go with Jota because he's guaranteed to play than Havertz that might not play. That's probably where I'm kind of thinking at, and I think at 7.5, as I've said throughout the kind of videos this week, 7.5, 7.6, that's still a great price to get a Liverpool attacker at. So I think that could be quite hard to ignore. Big storm in the UK is slamming. So that's what I've kind of heard. I don't know if it's a storm. I saw some people, it was snowing there in the UK. In SA, it's not a great day, to be honest. Maybe we're going to replicate your guys' weather. But apparently in Liverpool, around that area, the winds have been potentially quite strong. So I've seen a couple of damaged houses and that sort of thing. So maybe it will be caught off. But I think, as I said, that's probably clutching a little bit. But hopefully you guys are doing well. And as always, post the questions in the chat. We'll get to them, have a little bit of a discussion about them. We can also talk about captaincy a little bit later on, and maybe more people join, as I don't really want to talk about that too many times or like repeat myself, because usually most people have the same questions. Probably a question is going to be about Foden this week, unfortunately. I think with him, it's a situation like last week. We don't exactly know if he's going to start or not. Even if he was fit, he might not even play. So unfortunately, that's just kind of the thing with Pep Guardiola and that Pep roulette. Natan saying, what do you think about King? I looked at King potentially as a replacement for Armstrong. I just don't like the Watford fixtures at the current moment. And as far as I know, Ismaila Sarr is going to be missing this weekend. So that kind of deters or hinders their attack quite a bit, because he seems to be quite a live wire. Melina is saying, what's your budget forwards would you recommend to free up funds? I still like Hwang because I think his next two are great, but there are some other options as mentioned. Josh King from Watford, he's probably the go-to man to go for. You could also go for maybe like a Pookie, but I think in terms of budget forward, you're not expecting too much, so I would probably just go with Watford and then hope that they kind of play well against these tough opposition. Okay, so Michael van Staden saying, Foden to Jota for a -4. This is pretty much probably going to be quite a requested requested kind of a question, and it's a super tough one for me, because I think if it's a free transfer, it makes sense, but for a hit, I don't know about it. It's just those Man City fixtures coming up look so good, but yet again, Jota is probably going to be starting most games for Liverpool, and they're such a good attack. I just don't know if I would do it for a -4. 100% maybe Foden was out this week, but we don't exactly know. I think that I would probably do it for a free transfer, but for a hit, that's quite a question, because then you basically have to make sure that Foden gets a return this week. Otherwise, it won't pay off. But I think I probably would do it. In a best world, I probably would have both of them. But I think in the current moment, I would probably do that move just because we don't know how Foden's fitness is. And also remember that we do have midweek games coming up next week. So it's going to be quite a quick turnaround. So if Foden misses out this weekend, he's probably going to miss out next week as well, potentially. So I would say it's a tough one. I think you have to understand that it's a risk. But if you understand that it's a risk, I would say a -4 should be fine. SH saying nice moustache. So everyone in like real life has been saying that the moustache doesn't look great, and come 1st of December I have to shave it off. So thank you. At least someone is saying I have a nice moustache, but because in IRL it's not going too well with the people I know. Thoughts on Havertz and White to Alonso and Rafinha for a -4. I probably wouldn't do a -4 for that, Slays, just because I think Arsenal have a good fixture, so White has the potential to get a clean sheet. And also, Rafinha, Alonso, I wouldn't be kind of wrecking my team to get Alonso in this week. I mean, yes, he could do well, but it is United. As a Liverpool fan, it feels quite weird that I think I have more faith in United than the United fans do, because everyone seems to be doubling up on the Chelsea defence, getting Chelsea attackers and or whatever. But I think this is not the fixture to kind of take a hit on. I think this could be quite a close game. Maybe both sides do score. So I wouldn't be kind of wrecking my team to bring in an Alonso or a James. Maybe a James more than Alonso, but I think most people have a Chelsea defender ready. So I probably wouldn't be taking a -4 to double up this week. So I would keep what you have right there. For future moves, would you rather bring in Jota and Tomiyasu or Alonso and Gallagher? I only have funds for one. I probably would say Jota's a priority. Yes, Alonso is looking good. So like out of those two, I think on paper, Alonso and Gallagher look better, but I think Jota's like one of those must-have sort of players if he's going to be starting. That's why I was really unhappy that Klopp didn't give us an update. Not necessarily Klopp, but the journalists asking him questions. Like, how can't you ask Klopp about how Firmino is? That's just really weird for me. I don't know what questions they're asking him. But if we got indication that Firmino was going to be out for a long amount of time, I would say Jota is almost kind of one of those more essential players to get. Is Rafinha to Jota for a -4 good? Okay, let's look at the Leeds fixtures, because there's been quite a few questions about the Leeds assets. Crystal Palace, Brentford, great fixtures on paper there. I don't think I would be taking Rafinha out at the current moment. Yes, maybe like game week 16 onwards, then you could probably take him out. But I think these three are perfectly fine. And Rafinha's fit to play, so he will play. The only reason he didn't start last week is because of that illness, which I mean we can't really predict, to be honest. So I don't think I'd be taking a -4 for him out. Henry Rolfe saying, love your work, Dayvy. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you. Roll a free transfer or Diaz to Alonso. So I think I would probably roll. This week for me, it's like a weird one. If you're going to start Antonio, then I probably would do it. But if you're going to bench Antonio like me, I think that this could be quite a nice like little move to do. Just maybe keep the Man City assets and then assess what's going on. Because we do know that Alonso probably will play, but we don't 100% know what's going to be happening with that Chelsea defense. Look, I mean, if you're happy with your team, I wouldn't probably mind it. It's almost like burning a transfer, if you know what I'm saying. I think that move could be fine, but I don't know. I think Diaz has potential over this festive period to get some points. But saying that, next week I'm probably going to do Diaz to Alonso myself. It's just, I don't know if the United game is the best one to do the transfer on. But I mean, they could get wrecked. I mean, last time I said this, I said don't captain Salah because he's playing United. And then United were totally trash and like conceded 5 goals to them. So I mean, Chelsea, it could be the same. I don't know. They're really kind of a weird team at the moment. Jared says I tool a bit. Switching Alonso for Rudiger and Sanchez for Ramsdale. So Alonso for Rudiger, Sanchez for Ramsdale. So both of those moves are a little bit sideways for me. But so I would recommend those moves, Jared, if you want to burn a transfer, but not like if you're going to be using free transfers for them. Start Antonio or Townsend. Who do Everton play? Everton play Brentford. I'd probably start Townsend in that case. I'm pretty certain that I'm going to bench Antonio this week. I don't think there's much that's going to change my mind on that one. The only thing I probably will do is I'll just switch the bench around because I'm hoping that Trent keeps a clean sheet, but I mean, they haven't been great defensively. Shady saying, is Foden out? He's not out completely. It's a tough spot to be in, but as I've said, like with Foden, if he was fit, there was a question of rotation anyway. So now we have him not fully fit, and it's an even bigger question. I would say that, like, I want to say like maybe 70-30 that he starts, but it's hard because I don't know the exact extent of his injury. Like if Foden trains today, he could play tomorrow. But he was training individually yesterday, which gives you an insight to say that he wasn't ready for full training. So it's like a tough situation to be in. And I can understand, like I understand it's a tough spot to be in, especially if you guys want to take him out. And that's why I've said Foden to Jota it's fine in my eyes because Jota will play, whereas Foden might not. So you can almost base your transfer on that. And in FPL, it always pays to sometimes bet on the certainties because FPL is such a kind of luck game anyway. So if you're going to bet on the uncertainties, it's like a double luck factor. So if you bet on the certainties, it's a lot better. Start Foden or Wilson. Who do Newcastle play? Newcastle play Arsenal. I'd probably start Foden then. If you're going to keep Foden, I'd play him. Worst case, he comes off the bench, but I mean, with City's attack, he can get a return off the bench anyways. Antonio out, Raul Jimenez in, says Wallace Tan. That's a move that I was looking at doing because I think Raul Jimenez is going to bang this week, to be honest. And that's why I wanted to bring Hwang in because it like covers him a little bit. But I think that Wolves against Norwich could be quite a score. So I would be tempted by that move, but I think if you've held Antonio so far, you probably should just keep him, to be honest. Nathan saying, what do you think about Bernardo Silva? I do like him, but I think if you have like enough money to buy Jota or Bernardo Silva, I would 100% go with Jota. It's almost like a situation there. It's like if you want an extra midfielder with Salah, if you have Son, Foden, those sort of players, then you can add him, but I don't know if I would be going from exactly. Kevin saying, bit of vibration on your mic. I do apologize for that. Just let me know if it's unbearable. Then maybe I'll switch it out or maybe change some things around or something. Maybe what you should do is just turn me down because I think it looks a little bit high in terms of the mic volume. But just let me know if it's like a real problem. Like my fan's not even on because it's cold here, so it shouldn't be vibrating that much. Antonio for Benteke. I've seen a couple of people bring Benteke in this week. It's a little bit of an interesting move for me. I think I would do it if you're going to upgrade another department, like part of a 2 transfer thing. But I don't think I would be doing that, to be honest, Ty. What are your thoughts on Vardy captaincy this week? I think Vardy captain this week should be good. If you guys watch the Ultimate Guide, Fantasy Football Fix has him as besides the Liverpool options, because there's 4 of them in the top 4. So the 5th or 2nd team is going to be Vardy's predicted to score the 2nd most points. Look, I think if you're not happy with your rank, go for it. But I think there's no problem captaining Salah this week. I think it's it's one of those overthinking moments. And that's why I said I would only do it if you guys understand the risk. And take it from me, if you guys watch me for the past couple of weeks, I got burnt by him severely. So that's probably why I'm so hesitant to not go with this, to change the captaincy from Salah. Townsend replacements. So Townsend replacements, my number 1 would probably be Gallagher if you can afford him. But other options you can also look at is someone like a Smith Rowe. There's not too many around that price tag, unfortunately. So you might as well maybe just keep him for this game and then maybe look elsewhere. Maybe try upgrade him with the 2 free transfers or something like that. But I would probably prioritize Gallagher if you can afford him. Are you saving your transfer? No, I'm going to do a transfer. It's probably going to be Havertz out for Jota or Armstrong out for Hwang. I just want to get as much news as possible about that weather concerns because, for example, from now till the deadline, the prices aren't going to change. So, Hector saying, I feel like you may... So let me lower my mic here for you guys. Maybe that will help. So you guys might just have to turn me up here a little bit. Okay, so now it's saying it's the same volume, but I've turned the gain down. So if the just let me know how the audio is on this one, because I did change my USB port, so maybe that's why it's like messed up or something. Thanks, Vince, for the feedback. Kevin, I think you were the one that said it had some vibration, so just let me know if it's better now. You did ask, you said weather is fine in London, so that's good. That's good. That sounds a lot better. Thanks, Hector. Appreciate it. Apologies for that. I understand what you guys say, because I've sometimes watched streams where the mic sounds terrible. Okay, better. Thanks. Apologies again. Sorry for the audio. Son to Jota. I already have Kane. I would keep Son, to be honest. If you have Son or Kane, keep them for the next 3 game weeks. This is something that I think a lot of people do in FPLs. They don't have a lot of patience with some options. Yes, I know that Spurs were playing like my five-a-side team last weekend. It was like shocking. No offense to my five-a-side team, please, if you guys are watching. But they were playing terribly. But I think you have to give them 3 game weeks because the fixtures just look so good. Kuran saying you're getting Hwang. I might get Hwang for Armstrong. It just depends on the Liverpool game. If it's looking a little sketchy, then I probably will bring Hwang in for Armstrong. But the main move I probably will do this week is Havertz out for Jota. Roberto, replacements for Havertz. Go for Jota. He's the best option to go for. If you already have Jota, I think Bernardo Silva could be a nice little option as well. Kevin saying you sound like a jungle 100%. So hopefully now I sound a little bit better, but it seems like I do. What do you think of Anderson? Are you talking about Anderson from Crystal Palace, the defender? Probably, hey, because I think Felipe Anderson's left West Ham. I like the Crystal Palace options because they're so cheap. Like if you're going to get a 4.5 now that Livramento is more expensive, I think the Crystal Palace options look quite good. Vieira's got them playing nicely defensively. Play Mbeumo or Emerson Royale? I think I would favour the attacker here, and I would probably play Mbeumo. But I don't know, they are playing Burnley, who aren't great. They did score a couple though. I think I would still probably favour the attacker here, Vince, and just hope that Mr. Mbeumo doesn't hit the post again. Alamins with the £1 donation, thank you, I do appreciate it. Probably forgot your question, so just post it in chat and I'll try get to it. But thank you for the super chat. 11 mil for a midfielder and forward. Yo, that's a tough one, Mohammed. So let's take a 4.5 there. Yo, you don't have a lot of options to kind of go for there. Maybe try get a Gallagher, but I don't think you can get a forward. Just get a 4.5. You can get a 6.5 and go for a 4. Yeah, go for a 4.55 forward and then get Gallagher, Mohammed. Naveen saying Armstrong to Hwang. Any thoughts on that, please? Don't have a better option. Yeah, I like Armstrong to Hwang, especially for the next 2 game weeks. As I said, I think Wolves will dominate Norwich this week. So that move is perfectly fine for me. And also Southampton's fixtures turn now, so the fixtures don't look great from Armstrong's point of view. Thoughts on Benteke and Wood? So, Jack, I like Benteke more than Wood because I think Crystal Palace have better fixtures and Burnley are quite hit or miss sometimes. I do like them, but I think we're kind of stretching the differentials there a bit. So I wouldn't get both of them, Jack, but I would probably get Benteke over Wood. Look, I mean, they're budget forwards, so you're not going to get the biggest returns in the world, but already have Gallagher. Then get Smith Rowe or get, can you afford someone like a Rafinha with that price tag? Should I captain Cancelo? You can, but I think West Ham's a tough game, to be honest. I think they're going to play into West Ham's hands here because of the counter-attack. And that's why I'm a little bit worried about Antonio, but if you guys have watched the counter-attacks that West Ham have had in the past, Antonio hasn't been getting points on the attacks anyway. Any thoughts on Aspi? Lost his place in the Chelsea squad. So Conrad, it's a little bit of a weird one. I think if we have some Chelsea fans in here, they can probably say, but that Chelsea defense is stacked. Like, they have 6 centre-backs that can all be first-team centre-backs. It's absolutely mental. James won't lose his place, because of the form that he's been in. So the only chance probably Aspie is playing is left wing back or playing at that right centre back. And it doesn't seem like they do favour him at the moment. So it's a little bit of a weird situation, but I mean, I can't really explain it. But I had to get Aspie out of my team because he just was not starting at all. Hi Rafa and Reza, hopefully you guys are doing well. A tough choice between Rudiger and Antonio in my starting 11. Who would you start? Sonny, I would probably start Rudiger, to be honest. You guys can see I'm benching Antonio. Might come back to bite me, but it is what it is. Who would you put in for Damari Gray? Kill, can you afford Gallagher? If you can afford Gallagher, that's probably what I would go for. Otherwise, maybe a Smith Rowe. Unfortunately, there's not too many options around that price point, but there are some kind of value picks that you might be able to jump on. Maybe a Cornet. He's also pretty good. Carlo saying, morning, I've got Vardy and I'd like to transfer him out. Any thoughts for replacement? Carlo, I wouldn't take Vardy out this week. I would probably leave it. 4:30 or 5, the cutoff. Fazlo, so you're probably a different time zone than me, brother. But it's probably going to be 5 because, yeah, it won't be 4:30. So sorry, Fazla, I don't exactly know what time zone you're in, but the cutoff will probably be on the hour. Meet saying, CO7, thoughts, new manager and easy fixtures past Arsenal. Yeah, so Meet, that's the move everyone's going to be doing. And they're going to be doing Kane to Ronaldo around game week 16, I think. It's after the Norwich game for Spurs. So I agree with you. CO7's fixtures do look great then. Vibe saying, what transfer are you doing this week? It's probably going to be Havertz to Jota, but I could also do Armstrong to Hwang, just depending on the news about the weather. Okay, so Light Race saying, weather forecast in Liverpool looks fine. 16-kilometer winds, rains clearing. So I don't know if 16-kilometer winds is good. I didn't take geography at the end of high school. I dropped it for another subject. So if 16k winds are good, then we Gucci. Do you think Mbeumo going to give us more points against Everton? I hope so. I mean, this lad has not been scoring any points. So he's just been hitting the post, which is super annoying. People are sleeping on Benteke. So Baby wants to let you know in caps that people are sleeping. I do think so. I think it's probably one of those price tag things where people overlook players that are kind of have a cheaper price. But it's also Benteke. I don't know. It's light wind, no problems. Yes, we got some very good weather experts in the chat. Appreciate it, guys. As Light is saying, very light. Okay. Jason saying Tuchel prefers Chalobah over Aspie. I can also maybe understand it. Aspie's getting on a little bit in age, but as far as I know, he's the club captain, so it's a little bit weird not to kind of play your club captain. Antonio and Matip to Benteke and Alonso, followed by Benrahma to Jota next week. I don't think I would be ruining my team to get Alonso in this week. I think the Benrahma to Jota move looks better this week, but I guess you're trying to get money in. If you can afford Benrahma to Jota, I would just do it this week. Trossard for Jota, yeah, that move looks good. Foden for Jota, -4, worth it. Sarafa Reza, we went over this a little bit earlier on, so I'll just repeat, kind of sum it up a bit because we were quite lengthy. I think for a free transfer, 100%. But from -4, we're getting into some dangerous territory there because if Foden does play, I do think he'll do well. So I think as long as you understand that risk, and as you said, you're kind of thinking that he won't start. So if you're predicting that he won't start, I think that move looks good for a hit. Harry saying, morning, Dayvy. Morning, Harry. Hopefully you're doing well, brother. If you could bring Hwang in, who are you going to bench? I would probably bench Havertz then. Yeah, that's the weird thing. That's why I'm like leaning more towards the Havertz transfer. I could also bench Ben White, which could be a move I do. It's just that I'm unsure about Havertz at the current moment. Like, even if he does play, maybe we have a United masterclass, which we probably won't. But I just don't know about Havertz at the current moment. It's not like he's been lighting up the world when he has been playing anyway. And what I worry about with Lukaku is that they're going to hit like the 60-minute mark, and then Lukaku's going to be wanting to get on, and then they might sub him a little bit early on. What do you think about the weather? Any issues with the weather? So far it doesn't look like there's going to be bad weather at all. It looks like it's going to be pretty calm there at Anfield, besides the Salah and Jota hat-trick and Trent hat-trick. But besides those earthquakes, there's not going to be anything bad. Halmi's saying, so sad on the bench, Chilwell news. 100% it is, because he's quite a young player. He's actually a lot younger than I thought he was. And that's always annoying with those injuries. I'm just hoping it's not an ACL, because if it's an ACL, then that's like an injury that comes back usually, which is going to be quite bad. Armstrong to Raul Jimenez. That looks like a very nice move to go for. Hwang for Antonio. I don't think I would be taking Antonio out if you've held him for this long. It's like one of those weird ones. I think if you guys are super happy with your team and you have like 2 free transfers, then you can take some punts. But just remember, you will be losing some value on Antonio. And basically, I'll show you why I don't want to lose Antonio is. So say Brighton, okay, it's not the worst fixture in the world. Like, he could get some points there. Let's not look at his history, because his history is absolutely shocking. He has not done well at all. I mean, just look at the start of the season. 13, 16, 11. I mean, I think this is probably why we're keeping him, because of these first 3. Then after that, it's been, like, dismal. But after this, from game week 16 onwards, the fixtures look quite nice. So that's why, like, I'm fine with keeping him, because I have enough players yet to potentially bench for him. So that could be fine. Keep Jesus or bring in Kane. I don't know, you guys might be thinking differently, but I don't think I would be bringing Kane or Son in this week. I think I would wait maybe and just see if Conte sets them up a little bit better. Because in his own words, he said, he was like, the level at Spurs is not great. So I think I would probably just keep who you guys have. Especially if you think they're going to start and they have a good fixture. Murad saying, would you take Rafinha out for Jota? Or is that a bit sideways? I don't think I would do that. So I don't think it's sideways. Sideways is when you take like Mane to Salah to Mane, or like one of those moves where it's like they play this for the same team and they're the same price. So I think it's sideways. I think I would rather just keep Rafinha for these next 3, and that, unfortunately, that's just how it is. It's like one of those weird scenarios where because you have the player, you're almost forced to keep them. And I think I would probably just stay with that. Future transfer plans. I would like to bring Alonso in, but with Diaz, it's a weird situation because Diaz has been kind of being rested a lot. Like I don't know why he's being rested so much. But I might do Diaz to Alonso next week. But further than that, I would probably like to take Mbeumo out. I don't really like him. And I think the fixtures might get a little bit tougher for Brentford coming up, so maybe Gallagher. But besides that, I don't really have too much of a plan because every time I've had a plan this season, it's been completely wrecked, which is quite annoying. Diaz or Hwang for the starting 11? That's like, I think you have to go with Hwang then. I think the upside's so much higher than with Diaz versus West Ham. Hi mate, how's it? Definitely maybe X. Need a downgrade for defensive options. Antonio to King or Foden to Gallagher? Probably do Foden to Gallagher there. I'd probably just keep Antonio. I think you want to keep that second striker spot at that price point. I don't think you want to downgrade too much. Baby says Benteke's attacking stats match Salah in the box apparently. I can check that for you. Philip saying you never answer my questions. This is like, it's the toughest thing in the world. Like, people ask questions and then I'll read when they say you never answer my question. It's like Murphy's Law. I think that's the right term. I'll check Benteke and Salah for you. Let's go Salah and then let's go Benteke. So yeah, I'll bring this up. Can you guys see this? I think you guys can. Let me just bring OBS back up. Okay, so from game week 7 to 12, I think that's fair because, okay, let's go per game averages. So let's go, what stats do we want? I think we want, it's probably shots, eh? Let's go shots. Okay, so it's near, it's 3.8 to 3, but I guess he is a striker, so he probably should be getting some shots there. Okay, Salah beats them again. Expected goals, maybe. It's close on that one, per game. Not that bad. I mean, imagine joining the stream and then you see me comparing Salah and Benteke. You probably would just click off the stream instantly. It's like, what's this guy doing? Why is he comparing Benteke to Salah? But there's your comparison there. Bench Antonio. Matthew, I'm benching him. I mean, you can go with me. I think it could turn out bad, but I think with Diaz and Cancelo, I would rather play the odds there and getting a double clean sheet. Hopefully both of them start. FPL Geek saying, Morning, Dayvy. Morning, FBL Geek. What's your thoughts on rolling a free transfer to bring in Reece James next week? However, to free up the funds, I have to transfer out Tony or Rafinha. Which one to do? I'd probably take out Tony. How are Brentford's fixtures looking? Yeah, you see that they don't have terrible fixtures, to be honest. So who was the other option you said that you must downgrade? Tony or Rafinha, which one? Like, in a perfect world, neither, but I would probably say Tony over Rafinha, to be honest. Okay, so Philippe, anyone in this chat have an opinion on who to bench out of Diaz, Tavares, Mbeumo, or Havertz? I don't know, there might be some Arsenal fans in here, but when I watched Liverpool versus Arsenal, Tavares looked terrible. Now I know that Arteta might not be that manager that, like, you know, if they play badly, if they play badly, he doesn't want to bench them for the next game because then it's going to ruin their confidence. So he might still play him, but I think that I would probably bench Tavares just in case. Sadesh saying, "Oi, Wagwan, what are your transfers for this week?" My transfers for this week is probably going to be Havertz to Jota. That's what I think. So he was saying Tavares won't play today. That's my impression. I don't think he will because he didn't look good against Liverpool. Karabo saying, "Good afternoon, Dave. Love the content. Thank you a lot. Should I start Foden or Antonio? City fan." I would start Foden then, especially because you're a City fan. If you're going to keep Foden, I'd play him. There's no reason not to play him. I mean, even if he comes off the bench, you could still get some returns. So everyone here is saying that they think Tavares will be benched. I mean, it's a 50-50, but I mean, he's playing against Gucci anyway, so that's not going to be a clean sheet. So I don't even know why I'm playing Ben White. Thoughts on Armstrong to King? I looked at this move as well, but I just don't like those Watford fixtures. Pudar saying good luck all. Thank you. Good luck to you too. FPL Geek saying Tomiyasu is the best option to go for. So you guys can go for Tomiyasu. The annoying thing for me though is like with Tomiyasu, his attacking threat doesn't seem to be that great. This might be super ignorant because I don't watch Arsenal every week, but like in terms of the comparison between fullbacks in the league, Tomiyasu doesn't seem to get like that many assists or getting that forward. I might be completely wrong there though. Lawazi saying smash that like button and follow. May the green arrow gods be in your favor. 100%. I'm not saying that if you hit the like you'll get a green arrow, but maybe that's what Lawazi's insinuating there. Alonso in for Chilwell if I already have James. Yes, I think if you don't have Cancelo, I would get him. If you don't have Trent, I would get him. But besides that, Alonso would be my third favorite option to go for. It might not be the most profitable this week, but I think it makes the most sense for the future. Rafinha to Jota, I'm fine with that move, but I think it has to be like your only option to get Jota in. Carl saying good luck to us. Hopefully we've been blessed with the good luck. Alonso Rudiger, Alonso J Deep. Start Alonso over one of Hwang, Gallagher and Mbeumo. I have James. I would start him over Mbeumo then. Differential captain, Vardy. I probably wouldn't touch Kane. I would go Raul Jimenez. So Vardy or Raul Jimenez are my two differentials. Thoughts on Dyer since he's on free kicks now. So I think I would be fine with that if like free kicks go in a lot. But to be honest, they don't go in that much. So I don't think that's something that would kind of make me want to get him over the other options at the same price point. Thank you for the kind words, Abdul. How come you've got Antonio first on your bench? Because I'm more scared of Antonio than I am Armstrong. So what I kind of hope is that if one of my defenders gets benched, probably one of Cancelo or Diaz, then I'm dropping that City clean sheet and then I hope that Antonio scores. I just don't know. It's just one of those things I'm going. Between these two, I don't think there'll be too much. Jay Carter saying, nice, most appreciate it. I have Ronaldo, Armstrong and Antonio. Who to play or should I transfer out? I have one free transfer. If you want to transfer, I'd probably do Armstrong to Hwang if you really want to do one. But otherwise, I would just play Ronaldo if you're only going to play one, I'd play Ronaldo. Mike saying thoughts on Antonio benching this week, but I like him for future game weeks. The beautiful game saying just joined. What's your transfer plan and what's your squad value? Thanks. So squad value, I think you guys can see it there. I think you can see it here in the bank. I've got like the chat over it. So just like, if you guys can't see it, just tell me. But that's my squad value. And in terms of transfer plan, I'm going to do probably Havertz to Jota. I'll check Twitter in 5 minutes. Or when it's 10:02, I'll check Twitter. Aiden says, good idea, but Dyer's never scored a free kick. Oh, I never knew that. I thought he scored at least one. He got the assist last week, hey, for the Regulon one. FBall Geek saying, you got Smith Rowe. I'm going to the Arsenal game for sure. I feel confident he'll get a... I really like Smith Rowe. The only thing that's a little bit sus about him is that he pulls his socks down. I don't know, it's like a Jack Grealish. It just looks so weird when like the rest of the team has high socks. That's the only thing I have against Smith Rowe. In terms of him, I think he's an absolute baller, so I really do like him. And hopefully he'll get some returns against Newcastle. Otherwise, enjoy the game. Hopefully it's a good one. Should I start Gallagher or Lamptey? I'll start Gallagher. Is Rafinha out this week? I don't think so. I think he's back. He's back in training, so he was only ill. So I think he should be fine. Jota plus Johnson or Alonso plus Smith Rowe. Marco, Smith Rowe I only like this week. Arsenal's fixtures get a little bit tougher. But I think Jota's a sensible option. But just be careful about Johnson. There might be some rotation in the future for him. Ty saying Dayvy is against the low socks. It's ironic because I play with low socks when I play. So it's like I'm being super contradictory here. But I just guess if I was like on a professional level, then I might pull my socks up a bit. Foden to Jota / Smith Rowe or Allen to Smith Rowe. If it's for free, I probably would do the Foden move, to be honest. It's quite weird how like FPL changes because last week I wanted to bring Foden. My plan was to do Hwang in for Armstrong, and that would give me the money I needed to do Havertz for Foden next week. So it's weird how like things change now. Like everyone wants to take Foden out, but I actually like Foden. Why not keep Havertz and save the transfer, Dayvy? I think that Jota has a high scoring potential, and I'm worried a bit about Havertz starting, to be honest. Should we buy Spurs defenders or wait a few game weeks? I would wait. So here, I don't think their ownership isn't that high as well, so I guess it's a punt if you bring them in. Like any Spurs option is a punt at the current moment because they're playing so badly. So if you want to take a punt, go for it, but I think there's other defensive options around that price tag that you could still kind of get that are better for the future. Igor saying, thoughts on Regulon? I like him if you're going to be going for a Spurs defender. He's my favorite to go for. How many games do you think Foden will play? I think because he's a youngster, the majority if he's fit. That's all. That's what I'll say over the festive period. I think he's too good at the current moment to bench. Like, you can't bench Foden and because his development is going so quickly. Like, he's not going to be this young forever. So I think Pep knows that and he'll play him if he's fit. This is the FPL content we needed. FPL picks influenced by sock height. Exactly. Maybe there's a trajectory difference of their shots that players with lower socks hit it on target more or something like that. Is Foden fit? He's not 100% fit. He trained individually yesterday, but if he trains today, I think they can classify him as being match fit. Rafinha to Gallagher. That's too kind of the upside's not enough for me there. I would keep Rafinha. Jota and Hwang for -4. Is it worth it? It depends who you're taking out, Safwan. If like you're taking out good options, then it's not worth it. But if you're taking out players that won't even start, then 100%. Will Salah and Mane get benched? I don't think they will. I think Klopp's going to play them every game until AFCON because he's going to like get the most out of them before they leave. That's what I think is going to happen. Sakin saying, good evening. Good evening. Interesting where you around the world if it's evening by your side. Australia? Japan maybe? Bench Mbeumo or Townsend? I'd probably bench Townsend for Mbeumo because it's a home game for them. What do you think of Mount? I like him, but I think the Chelsea fixtures are drying up attacking-wise quite a bit. Do you know when is the latest that we can use the first wildcard? Seen some contradictory information online. So, Jack, as far as I know, it's the last game week of this year. So, in the new year, that's when you have to have used it by. So, the 1st of Jan's like the kind of cutoff, I think. But obviously, there might be like a game week that overlaps the 1st. So, then you'll have to use it before that game week. Let me just I can just check for you here. So, I think I would be safe and I'd use it before game week 20. That's when I would probably try use it. just to be like safe. But FPL will announce, they'll do like an announcement, because for most casual managers, they'll say, please use your wildcard before this date or you burn it. Best 3.9 defender, I think someone like maybe, did Brandon Williams play last game week? I would probably look at him, but there's not too many at 3.9. So Sakin from Bangladesh, thank you for joining. From the viewers are from all around the world, so hopefully at least you have some nice weather in Bangladesh. Here in SA it's been a little bit crummy. So if you were to take Havertz out, who's the best option to go for? 100% Jota. Or if you have Jota already, you can bring in Bernardo Silva, or you can just keep Havertz. I mean, if you think Havertz is going to start, then that's chilled. We're taking a -4 for it's this. So this is what we spoke about to join law before. Like, for a free transfer, I can understand it, but for a hit, it's dangerous territory, because if Foden plays, you're going to be worried. But I think for the future, ideally you want both, but I think I prefer Jota over Foden at the current moment. So I think if you understand the risk, then a -4 is fine. Sol Trossard for Jota, I think that move looks good, David. Not sure who to bench, Hwang, Tony, or Rafinha. That's a super tough one, Mikey. I think out of those two, who do Leeds play? They play Brighton. If you have a Brighton defender, you could bench Rafinha, but on paper there, I would probably bench Tony. Innocent is saying Game Week 20 is the last one for the wildcard. Okay, thanks, Innocent. Appreciate it. Tierney out for a -4. Ben, I wouldn't do that. I think he plays, and they are playing Newcastle. It's a good chance for a clean sheet. Trossard or Antonio for the bench? I would bench Antonio in that case. I'm perfectly fine with benching Antonio. I know it's probably considered more maverick just because of his ownership, but I just think that maybe it's different for me and you guys because I own a double Man City defense, but maybe if I owned a single. Mohammed's saying Game Week 19 is the last week, so there could be some, I understand what you're saying there. I think Game Week 19, 20, we'll get some more clarity by FPL. Also, what you can do is just maybe like DM them over on Twitter. Or just look at the rules. Sometimes on the rules they tell you when you have to use it by. What to do with Livramento? Just keep him. Livramento is a perfectly fine option to just keep. Antonio to Jimenez. If you want to burn a transfer, if you want to take a punt per one, that's fine to do. Mendy or Sanchez. If you have a Man United or a Leeds attacker, play the opposite of that. But between those two, I don't know. Winston, I'm expecting a surprise by West Ham today. Antonio could be in the score sheet. 100% he could be. I mean, I was watching TV the other day and they brought on that bicycle he scored against Man City like a season or two ago. And that was like the worst thing for me to see because it just showed that he could score against Man City. But I don't know. It's just, I think that West Ham, the last week's performance probably put me off playing Antonio this week. Do your transfer, 100%, 10 minutes left. So let me go check Twitter. I don't think there'll be anything on Twitter that we have to worry about. Alexander, I've just woken up. I'm homesick. So are you homesick? So you miss your home, or are you sick at home? You're probably sick at home, Alexander. So hopefully you feel better. What's the plan? I'm going to check right now, and then the plan's probably going to be Havertz to Jota. That's probably what I'm going to do this week. Will Diaz play? I think he will, because I think the Prem is getting quite tough at the current moment. And I think that every team has to rack up the most amount of points as possible. So it doesn't look like we have anything to worry about, to be honest, guys. Looks all Gucci. No weather concerns. It's going to be quite interesting to see what happens. Like, everyone has the same teams now. Okay, so if you guys want to know about Jota to if you want to know Foden to Jota, a lot of people are doing Jota to Foden that I'm scrolling through on Twitter. So I mean, if you want to be part of the crowd, then keep Foden. But if you want to be part of the crowd, then take him to Jota. Okay, so we're going to do Jota. A move that we could have saved 0.2 on. Havertz to Jota. Cancel free hit. I nearly pressed free hit. Oh my word. Let me just cancel. I'm refreshing. Flip. I nearly played free hit. I'm like nervous now. Okay, make transfers. Confirm transfers. There we go. We're fine. Your boy just nearly played the free hit. That would have been mental. Can you cancel the free hit if you already played it? Okay, so Havertz to Jota. That's the move we've done. Only but a free hit for the win. Maybe I should have used the free hit. It would have been like the best free hit in history. Light Ray saying dangers of doing the transfer live. It is, but the problem is this microphone is like in front of the screen, so that's why like I can't really see it. Jason saying do it. Jason, I'm not going to do it. You should care about my sanity as a member. I'm not going to be putting that at jeopardy. Henry saying Diaz MVP with 2 goals. I would do quite a few things for that, Henry. That's all I'm going to say. I can only start 1. Diaz, Mbeumo, and Hwang. Can only start 1. Gary, your team must be exceptional. I would play Hwang just for the upside. G-Red saying it is reversible at least, I think. So hopefully. Otherwise, I would have been in quite a mess. Wallace saying Kane, Hattie, let's go, boys. I hope so, Flip. Gallagher or Smith Rowe. Craig, at this moment, I think you have to go with Gallagher because of the longevity of that move. Arsenal's fixtures turn a little bit coming up. So that's why I think that I would probably still stick with Gallagher. Will Collinson with a super chat saying, I have 1 free transfer. Should I take Diaz to Alonso or bank it? I can't get Jota without taking a hit. I would bank the transfer, Will. I think that the United game, let's just assess the situation there and then we can see what's happening with Alonso. I think that Diaz has the potential to still get points. But it's a tough, I understand what you're saying. It's a little bit of a concern there, unfortunately. It's a tough one, but I think rather just keep Diaz. Mikey's saying I'm giving Diaz another chance this week. All I'm saying is Diaz clean sheet, Diaz goal off a free kick or corner, and maximum bonus points. That's all I'm going to say. Why do you not want to captain Kane? Because Salah is going to be captained by everyone and their dog. So I would rather just go safe, and it has a great fixture. Slamming saying stay safe with the new variant. Yes, I will. I've been indoors mostly, so hopefully I don't catch it. But thanks for the concern, Slamming. Who to replace Mount with? I think Gallagher looks like a great option to go for, or like everyone's doing, go for Jota. Douglas Luiz in for Mbeumo, lol. I think Douglas Luiz, Gerard said that he's going to be part of the squad, so I think he'll be on the bench, not on the starting 11. And I'm hoping my boy Mbeumo, hits the post every once in a while, but hopefully he can score a goal maybe against Everton. Who to start, Armstrong or Antonio? I think start Antonio there because it's a little bit more of a safer move to do. Unless you have like triple Man City or double Man City defense, then don't do that. Okay, guys, what I'll do is I'll do a quick fire round here for the last 4 minutes or so. Get the questions in, and we'll roll through them as quickly as possible. Hey, Dayvy, who's winning Ballon d'Or? I think they should give it to Lewandowski. That's all I'm going to say. I think that he deserves it considering last season they didn't do it. It's a tough one. In a perfect world, Mo Salah would get it. I think Mo Salah should get it, but it is what it is. Okay, guys, let's do some quick fire here. We're going to start off with choose 2. Tony and Maximum Rafinha. Tony Rafinha. Antonio versus White. Whom to start? I'm starting White, so I think you probably should. I only have Azpilicueta. That's a little bit unfortunate. Boss, we do the color matches. Alexander. After maybe. I think I've ruined it with the time. 4 minutes left. Are you making a transfer? Sudesh, I did have it to Jota. That's the move I did. Vice captain Jota. I'm not going to captain vice and captain a player on the same fixture. Play one of Tony, Dennis, Douglas, Luiz. Start Tony definitely. Bench Antonio or Townsend. I'm fine with benching Antonio. Bench 1. Wilson and Mbeumo, Gallagher, Tony. I think you should bench Mbeumo. Start ASM or White. I favour the attacker in that situation, so maybe go with St. Maximum. Omar Badmadeli, I don't think he'll play. Worth getting Jota in for Trossard? I think so, David. Start King or Who did Watford play? They play Leicester. I'd start King. With Rafinha and team, Sanchez or Foster for goal. You can play the odds there, and I'd probably go with Sanchez just to hope that either one returns. Is Azpilicueta playing, says Mohammed? I don't think so. He might, though. It's a tough spot to be in. If you have him, play him. But if you don't, I wouldn't bring him in. Foden or Antonio to play? Definitely Foden, Christian. Havertz or Jota for a hit. And as long as you accept the risk that it is a risk, I think that moves fine for a hit. Henry, who will win the league? I think Chelsea will win the league, Henry. Hwang or Diaz? Gavin, I'd go with Hwang. Jota in for Rafinha, free transfer. Josh, I think that's fine, but I do still like Rafinha over the next three. Jason or Wesley? Hwang in for Armstrong for a -4. I don't think I'll do a -4 just because I would only want Hwang for the next two. I wouldn't want him for the long term. Trossard or Jota. Whom to start out of Duffy, Antonio or Armstrong? I would start Duffy. Start Foden 100%. If you have him, start him. Love you too, Dayvy. Love you too. Edison versus West Ham or Sanchez versus Leeds? Edison versus West Ham 100%. Antonio to Jesus or Veltman to Reguilon? One to start. I would rather keep Antonio for the upcoming. I would do Veltman to Reguilon and then I'd start Reguilon. Jota or Bernardo? Jota. Mbeumo or Diaz to start? I think Winston, I would go with Diaz, to be honest. I just have more faith in them. Ronaldo in next week? No, I'm going to keep Kane for 3 more game weeks, then I'll bring Ronaldo in. Helmy, thanks, all the best to you too. Tati saying, let's go. Should everyone like the video? Henry, everyone should like the video, but they're not. It's not a prerequisite. You can enjoy the content, but if you do, you can like it. If you don't, you just don't dislike it. But if you dislike it, I can't see it anyways. It's fine. Antonio to Ra Jimenez, just checking if my message appeared. Antonio to Jimenez, as long as you want to take a punt, but I would probably just keep Antonio now. Pudar overall rank, I think it's 160k. Jota for Foden for a -4. Douglas, as long as you understand it's a risk, go for it, but it's dangerous territory there. Do you think I have to get Jota even though I would have to do a -4? I don't think you have to, as long as the players you have right now are good. Like if you have a Foden, you don't have to do a hit. Start Antonio or Canos. Start Canos. On Alonso or Son. Vice on Alonso or Son. Vice on Son. Get Smith Rowe from Mbeumo for a -4. I think I would just probably keep Mbeumo, to be honest. I know it's risky, but I feel Vardy. Do I stick with my gut or play it safe? It depends on your ranking. If your ranking's pretty good, I'd probably just play it safe. But as you've said, if your gut's eating you inside, then you got to go with Vardy then. Good luck all, says Mikey. And unfortunately, the deadline is done. So luckily, we didn't activate the free hit. That would have been quite a disaster. So we did do one move. It was going to be Havertz out for Jota. Hopefully Jota gets a Hattie. Havertz, still hope he does well because I want them to beat United. Actually, no, they mustn't beat United. United must win tomorrow because Chelsea are leading the table. So good luck to you, United lads. Hopefully Havertz blanks and Jota does well. And as always, hopefully you guys get a green arrow. Sorry we didn't color block the team. Maybe that's going to be bad luck, but we still have some synergy here with the red and the blue. But otherwise, hopefully you guys have a safe weekend. And hopefully the green arrows are in our favor. I'll check you guys next week for some more content. Might be less videos than usual because we do have a midweek deadline. So make sure you guys are on your toes. Set your reminders in your calendars right now. Or just put my YouTube notifications or my Twitter notifications on because I will be announcing when I do deadline streams. And that's maybe basically your reminder of when the deadline's going to be. But have a safe and have a good weekend. And I'll be seeing you guys next week with hopefully a green arrow. But I'm signing off. Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.